my name is Daniel Menendez. Today I'm going to be presenting my project on John Galliano. This is him, and now we're going to move on to his birthplace and his early life. So John Galliano was born on September 28, 1960 in Gibraltar to a Gibraltar father and a Spanish mother. His father worked in the Navy while his mother worked in the fashion industry, which sparked his interest in the industry at a very young age. While still young, he moved to London, and that's where he spent the majority of his childhood and his teenage years. After moving to London and growing up, John Galliano enrolled in Central St. Martin's and graduated in 1984. His graduate collection, sorry if I pronounced this wrong, was titled Le Incroyable, and it took inspiration from historical dress and especially Marie Antoinette. The collection garnered instant acclaim in the fashion world and was bought out instantly and put in stores all over London. Shortly after graduating from Central St. Martin's, Galliano was appointed head designer at Givenchy, where he would stay until 1996. And I think that shows how far his collection really reached, because right after graduating, he was already appointed designer of such a giant brand. While there, Galliano reinvented Givenchy during his tenure by fusing his romanticism and his theatricality into the brand. Following his short tenure at Givenchy, which only lasted about 2 years, Galliano was appointed creative director of Christian Dior, where he would stay until 2011. His time at Dior was marked as a golden age as he took couture to new heights. And these are some pictures I included. This first one is him at Givenchy. I think it kind of shows off like the lace work, the drapery, like how he made it a little more romantic and have like a little more moodiness to the brand. And then these next two are from Dior. This one is older than this one. It kind of shows like the Marie Antoinette inspiration and how much he loves history. Speaking more about his inspirations, Galliano's career-long inspirations have always been rooted in the past. His love for history, specifically the Victorian era and the French Revolution, have manifested themselves into garments that look classic, yet cutting edge at the same time. This is similar to the dress on the last slide. This is heavy Marie Antoinette inspiration. I love it, from the high hair to the very wide skirt and the layered sleeves to this more simple looking dress, which is still very historical. It reminds me of almost the muslin chemises that Marie Antoinette would wear during like her more casual time when she would be like in her farm getaway. This is kind of giving me that, especially with the hat and all the white lace work. And Galliano himself did introduce a lot of trends into fashion. While they weren't like concrete, like say skinny jeans, they were more like substance. He was a source of inspiration for all of the fashion world. His level of dedication and the intricacy in which he used to design his shows was, I think, the main thing people took inspiration from, just like the artistry of it all. And I mentioned that together with Karl Lagerfeld, Galliano transformed fashion shows into more than just mere presentations of clothing. He turned it into a $1 million production, which we still think about today, like Chanel's rocket ship show or the Dior Egyptian show or the Oriental show. Those are still things that draw inspiration for millions of people in the fashion industry. Throughout his career, he also did have a couple rivals. Mainly, he rivaled with with Jean Paul Gaultier and Alexander McQueen while he was still alive. The brands mainly clashed in the way they carried themselves, and like McQueen's more sultry sexual vibe versus Galliano's romantic and soft vibe. That's where they kind of drew their rivalry, but it also led them to be more unique in themselves. And that was also the case with Chloe, the brand. While Galliano was working at Dior, they really didn't appreciate the way he was taking fashion, but it went into a right direction, I believe. Throughout his career, the collaboration I noticed the most was his Oscar de la Renta collab, where Oscar invited him to be a designer in residence at his brand in 2013. I think it was kind of funny because in the interviews I was reading, his like Oscar's designers were kind of like trying to shy away from the fact that Galliano helped them. But designs like these on the bottom kind of show like how much inspiration Galliano took and how much he worked on that collection. And Galliano himself was backstage when the show was first presented in New York. And these are some of my favorite moments from Galliano. This is one of his earlier shows. This is Naomi Campbell in one of his extremely ornamented creations. And this is Princess Diana in a dress that he designed entering the Met Gala. These are some pretty iconic looks from Galliano, and I think even before I knew who John Galliano was, I've seen most of these looks. Like Celine Dion's backward suit was Galliano. Um, this woman's dress, I'm so horrible, I forgot her name, is wearing a Galliano gown. And then this is Giselle at the Met Gala, and she's wearing a Galliano Dior inspired gown. And this is Nicole Kidman. Sorry, I don't know how I forgot that. And this is Tom Brady. Oh my god, that's so horrible. This is not Tom Brady. That's Giselle's man. Moving on, my favorite work through all of Galliano's creations has always been the Egyptian collection. It's always stood out to me, and it's something that's always in the back of my head. I think the level of perfection, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and the level of detail, these are all gold lame, it's haute couture, it's all handmade. I think that really inspires me, how much work and time and effort went into this collection. It's always going to be a really nice thing for me to look at. And then moving on, here are my references, and my music is going to go here soon. Thank you guys so much. Have a nice rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on John Galliano.